My spoiled sister couldn't stand that our grandma gave me the family heirloom necklace for my wedding, just because I'm adopted. So she tried to ruin my big day with one of her pranks. My wedding day was supposed to be perfect, but my own sister, Sienna, decided to ruin it with a cruel prank. Little did she know, her malicious act would expose a shocking truth, leading our parents to disown her right in front of everyone. You see, I'm adopted. My incredible mom brought me home when I was just a year old, and she always said I was her lucky charm because a week later, she met my future dad. They fell in love, got married, and then my sister, Sienna, was born a couple of years later. Our parents, my mom and dad, were always so open with us. I've known I was adopted my whole life, and it was never a secret from Sienna either. We were raised as siblings, loved equally, and our grandparents adored us both. In fact, my paternal grandparents initially had reservations about my dad marrying someone who had adopted a child, but he stood his ground, making it clear I was his daughter, no exceptions. I truly hit the jackpot with my family. Sienna and I had a pretty normal sibling relationship. You know, the usual squabbles over clothes, embarrassing each other in front of friends, nothing major. There was never any deep-seated resentment, no dramatic fights over boyfriends or favoritism. That's why what happened next hit me like a ton of bricks. So, about a month ago, a couple of weeks before my wedding to my amazing husband Lucas, still feels weird and wonderful to call him that. My Nona, my maternal grandma, pulled me aside. She had this stunning emerald necklace, a family heirloom passed down for generations, and she wanted me to have it. It wasn't about the monetary value, it was about the history, the love, the sentiment. I was absolutely thrilled and told her I'd be honored to wear it on my wedding day. Nona had always told Sienna and me that the first girl in the family to get married would receive this special gift. We joked about it for years, never really knowing what it was, but we knew it was important. When she actually handed it to me, it was this incredibly heartwarming moment. My mom and dad were teary-eyed, and even Sienna had tears in her eyes. I honestly thought they were happy tears. Boy, was I wrong. I had no idea what was brewing inside her, or that my parents already suspected her hurt. This necklace, this beautiful symbol of family, ultimately became the catalyst that shattered everything. Sienna was my maid of honor, of course. I had other bridesmaids, but she was my sister, meticulous and responsible, so I trusted her completely. But then, a week before the wedding, one of my bridesmaids, June, came to me. She said Sienna was planning a surprise and wouldn't let anyone else see what she was doing. June found it odd and felt I should know. I brushed it off, thinking, oh, it's just Sienna being thoughtful. I was so wrong. The wedding day arrived. I was walking down the aisle, feeling all the emotions, and then, the music wasn't right. Instead, a video started playing. It was from my bachelorette party, right after Nona gave me the necklace. It wasn't anything scandalous, just me and my friends, super drunk, singing Moana songs on a table, making goofy faces. It was a private, fun moment, not meant for a wedding audience. My feet froze. Lucas was mortified. I looked around helplessly, and there was Sienna, standing right there, laughing. Genuinely laughing. I wanted to slap her. Tiffany, another bridesmaid, thankfully rushed to stop it, but it had already played for a good 30 to 40 seconds. Sienna was mouthing, "It's just a prank." So funny. It wasn't funny. It was vile. It was cruel. I somehow composed myself, forced a smile, and had another bridesmaid take over. The rest of the ceremony felt like a blur. The guests were awkward, the beautiful vibe was shattered. I tried to enjoy it, but tears were stinging my eyes. I just wanted to run away. Later, I had June tell Sienna she was off all duties and needed to sit down. She threw a tantrum, saying I was a prude and couldn't take a joke. My other bridesmaids handled her, thankfully. My dad came up to me furious, promising he'd deal with her after the wedding. But it didn't matter. My day was ruined. And I later found out it wasn't a prank at all. Her intentions were purely malicious. That made it unforgivable. A week later, my mom, dad, and Sienna showed up at my house unannounced. Lucas was livid. He'd made it clear he never wanted Sienna in our home again after what she did. My parents apologized for bringing her, saying I needed to hear her out directly. I hadn't spoken to Sienna since the wedding, and the air was thick with tension. I just wanted closure. She shuffled her feet, hesitant, and I honestly thought she was embarrassed, ready to apologize for the prank. If that had been the case, I know I would have forgiven her. But it was so much worse. My dad, absolutely furious, finally hounded her into telling the truth. She hated that Nona gave me the necklace. She wanted it. This felt so bizarre. I mean, we shared jewelry all the time. I told her if it was such a big deal, she could have just said something, and I wouldn't have worn it. I even thought maybe she wanted it for her own wedding someday. But she said no, that wasn't it. I reminded her the family rule was always that the necklace went to the first daughter or the one who got married first, both of which were me. It wasn't a secret. So why the sudden, venomous reaction? I told her if her intentions were truly malicious, I had nothing more to say. She stayed quiet, but my mom nudged her, and then she just burst into tears. What she said next completely shattered my heart. She sobbed that the necklace was meant for the firstborn daughter of the family. I stared at her, genuinely confused, and she emphasized, meaning me. I never, ever thought I'd hear those words from her. Then, a torrent of hatred erupted. She screamed that I wasn't a real child of mom and dad's, yet I got all the love, as if I was the first kid, when technically, by biology, she was. I reminded her that our parents and Nona never treated me differently because I was adopted. Why would they start now? She didn't care. She said they should have treated me differently. She went ballistic. I told her if she truly felt I wasn't family, she had no right to be in my house. Lucas, bless his heart, immediately told her to get out. She did, and my mom, inconsolable but furious, went with her. My dad stayed for a few minutes. He hugged me, apologized, and swore I would always be their daughter, no matter what. He said he needed me to hear it from Sienna's mouth, because otherwise, I wouldn't have believed them. He was right. I was sobbing by then. He left, promising to call soon. Since then, I've felt numb. How could my own sister, the girl I changed diapers for, the one I shared all my makeup and secrets with, the one who came to me with everything, how could she think this of me? I still don't understand what happened, what led her down this path. Then, my dad called again. He and Mom made a decision. They disowned Sienna. He said they could forgive the act, but never the deep-seated hatred she felt. They tried to understand, asked if she ever felt favoritism, but she had no answers. There was a huge fight, and that was it. They've completely cut her off. He warned me she might go unhinged on social media, but I told him I'd block her. I just don't have the energy for her drama. I never, ever thought our family would come to this. A month went by. No word from Sienna. My parents hadn't heard from her, and neither had I. It stung, honestly. I thought maybe after a few days, she'd come around, try to fix things. But nothing. It felt final. She hadn't apologized, and I just assumed she never would. I'd occasionally see her posting cryptic quotes on her public Instagram, and a lot of them felt like personal jabs, which just twisted the knife. Lucas saw how much it was getting to me and made me stop looking. Then, late last night, my phone rang. It was Pops, my paternal grandfather, who lives a few states away. My heart jumped. It was late, so I knew something was wrong. He told me Sienna was at his place, that she had nowhere else to go. He'd taken her in, but she wouldn't tell him why she showed up on his doorstep in the middle of the night. He wanted to know if I knew anything. I told him I'd been out of touch for a month and had no idea. He said he'd talk to her and call me back, but he hasn't yet. Now, I'm just conflicted. Part of me thinks I should stay out of it. She made it clear she doesn't see me as family, so why should I get involved? But another part, the sister part, is worried sick. I can't shake this feeling of guilt. I know she's in this state because of everything that happened, and she must have felt utterly alone to go to Pops. None of us were talking to her, and now she's in trouble with no one to turn to. I just hope Pops calls soon. Because despite everything, she's still my sister, and I'll always love her and worry about her. Pops called me back, and what he told me, it was so much worse than I could have imagined. Sienna is on the verge of a complete mental breakdown. He said if she hadn't come to him, things would have been catastrophic. Apparently, Sienna has this long-term, on-again, off-again boyfriend, Mason. She knew him from school. We initially thought her crush was harmless, but by 15, they were together, and he quickly turned dark. By 17, he was the town's bad boy: drugs, alcohol, regular run-ins with the cops. We tried everything to get her away from him, but nothing worked. We were overjoyed when she went to college out of state, thinking she'd finally broken free. She even dated other guys, and I truly believed she'd learned her lesson. But I was wrong. Right after graduation, Mason reconnected with her. She never told us, terrified of our reaction. She admitted to Pops that she thought he'd changed, that he apologized profusely, and they got back together. She's hidden this from us for 6 years, maybe more. And from what Pops described, he's still a rotten egg, and his toxicity has slowly poisoned Sienna too. 2 years ago, Mason lost his job and moved in with her. Sienna saw it as progress, but he slowly started poisoning her against us, especially me. Mason always knew we hated him, and I particularly despised his guts ever since I found out about his drug use in high school and told Sienna she needed to break up with him or I'd intervene. Of course, she told him, and he's demonized me ever since. According to Pops, Mason systematically manipulated Sienna. It started subtly, offhand remarks about me being adopted. When she pushed back, he'd play innocent, then deny it, somehow convincing her she was the one making it up, that these were her own feelings finally surfacing. He literally programmed her, brick by brick, until she believed him. The breaking point? Nona giving me the necklace. By then, Mason had completely convinced her that none of us loved her, that I was always the focus, which was so far from the truth. She just snapped. The prank was her lashing out. After that, she was completely isolated. Her friends were disgusted, and she had no one but Mason. And that's when he started abusing her. I think he knew she had nowhere else to go. He dug her a grave so deep, she couldn't climb out. She came to Pops after a terrifying fight where she genuinely feared for her life. He'd punched holes in the wall, broken things over something trivial. She knew she couldn't come to us because we weren't talking. I can't believe she's been going through all this, and I feel so incredibly guilty. We should have been more aware, more involved. I can't stop thinking about her pain. I'm flying down there to talk to her. What she did was wrong, yes, but she's my sister, and it's my job to protect her. She literally ran for her life, and I can't help but blame myself. Maybe if things had been okay between us, she would have asked for help sooner. We should have seen the signs of manipulation. It's just horrifying. Pops asked me not to tell Mom and Dad yet, and I won't. We need to respect Sienna's wishes. She's been through enough. I just pray I can make that monster pay for what he's done to my sister. Sienna is back home with me now. I told Lucas everything, and he's been incredibly supportive. He's still a little miffed with Sienna, but he knows this isn't the time to bring it up. She's been crying, apologizing profusely. She knows Mason messed with her head, but she also says it doesn't absolve her of responsibility. It's heartbreaking to see her like this. I've urged her to get into therapy because everything Pops described, and what she's told me, aligns perfectly with what so many of you pointed out. These are classic signs of narcissistic abuse. She desperately needs professional help to climb out of this hole. It just makes me so sad. She's still not ready to tell Mom and Dad, and I won't push her. On the Mason front, we filed a police report. The lease was in Sienna's name, but there's clear evidence Mason caused the damage, so he's liable. Our landlord, who's been an absolute sweetheart, is suing Mason for property damage. So, Mason is pretty much done for. He has 2 cases against him simultaneously and keeps calling Sienna, begging her to reconsider. I'd have her block him, but our lawyers say anything he says now can be used as evidence, so we have to tolerate it if we want to see him brought to justice. It's going to be a long, tough legal battle, but I'm ready to fight it all and support Sienna through every step. She's still so despondent, a complete shell of herself, and her self-esteem has just plummeted. I hate seeing her like this. I know the road to recovery will be long and tiring, but she has to do it. And I'm so incredibly thankful she went to Pops. If she hadn't, none of us would have known the hell she's been living. Mason systematically isolated her from everyone. She told me he'd throw jealous fits and make scenes whenever she tried to go out with friends, so eventually, they stopped inviting her. Then he started causing issues within our family. And all this time, he contributed nothing, just sat around claiming he was looking for jobs. All the financial burden fell on Sienna after he was fired, though I honestly believe he quit just to mooch off her. I can't believe how foolish she was, but I know this isn't the time to say that. She's going through so much already, and the last thing I want to do is make her feel worse. I just hope this whole nightmare resolves soon so we can finally move forward as a family. So, this is my final update for now. Sienna is deep into therapy, and her therapist encouraged her to talk to Mom and Dad. It was a brutal conversation. They were absolutely heartbroken. I've never seen my dad so livid. Honestly, if we let him, he'd go after Mason himself. The case is still in court, but we have a really strong chance of winning. The landlord's lawyer is a total shark, so Mason is definitely not wriggling his way out of this one. The damages are in the thousands, and he's completely broke. Sienna was able to get a restraining order against him, which, let's be real, probably won't stop him, but it's a step. She seems better, but she's far from completely fine, and she won't be for a long time. Things are moving forward, slowly but surely. Sienna has even found a small apartment for herself and is moving out by the end of the month. She's staying in the same city, so I'll make sure we keep catching up. The last few months have been an absolute whirlwind, and I just hope that now I can finally start to enjoy my married life, knowing my sister is safe and on the path to healing.